All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Philadelphia Commission of Human Relations public session that's taking place today, Friday, September 20th, 2024. Can we start the meeting with the approval of the meeting minutes? Were there any corrections to note? All right. Hearing none, I move that we accept the minutes and they are submitted into the record. Next up are cases recommended for closing, and I will ask for recusals after I read the cases. All right. Cases recommended for closing for the month of September 2024 are as follows. Under employment, there's Damaris Santiago versus S&B Organic Cleaning Solutions, LLC. Mario Cruz versus Philadelphia Fight. Arthi Chandrasekaran, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, versus Grant Thornton, LLP. Brittany Sakura Drake versus Penn Interactive. Christina Reyes versus Congreso de Latinos Unidos. Alana M. O'Reilly, PhD versus the Institute for Cancer Center Research, doing business as Fox Chase Cancer Center, Temple University Health System, Temple University, and Jonathan Chernoff, MD, PhD. Jeffrey Blair versus First Step Staffing. Louis Lagan versus Elegant Furniture and Lighting Incorporated. Amy M. Crandall versus Northeast Community Center for Behavioral Health. Julia Christie versus Glasso Smith Klein. Randall Schatz versus DoorDash Incorporated. Marcy Brown versus Pierce College. Jasmine Nelson versus the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Under public accommodations, there's Jahid Hyman versus the Home Depot Incorporated. Lamont Twine versus 215 Get a Cab and Trans LLC. Daniel Taylor versus Arby's Franklin Mills, Cybra LLC, doing business as Arby's. Brandon Genesis Cordero versus CVS Pharmacy. Sharita Thorpe versus City Life Health Cobbs Creek, and Cobbs Creek City Life Health. Under Ban the Box, Shannon McFarland versus Uber Technologies Incorporated, and Randall Schatz versus DoorDash Incorporated. Are there any recusals to note?
Hi, Shalamark. Just as an abundance of caution, I believe I should recuse myself from the case against Congreso and First Step Staffing. Those are both borrowers of my company that I'm involved with decision making on.
And I need
So
to
noted.
sorry, I need to recuse from number 6, the Temple Fox Chase case.
Noted, and I also need to recuse from the DoorDash case.
And just for clarity, as this is a recorded public session, I'm involved in the credit decisioning of those two entities.
Perfect, thank you. All right, recusals have been noted. Can I have a motion to accept the cases? I see a motion made by Commissioner Tibbs, and I saw Commissioner Albert as well. I'll take that as the second. All in favor? Thank you. Cases for the month of September have been accepted. And with that, I will turn it over to Kia Gee for our Executive Director's report.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. I will start first with our legislative update. The first update relates to bill number 240060, and that specifically increases protections for source of income discrimination. That was signed by the mayor on September 4th, and it will go into effect on December 4th. It expands the protections of the Fair Practices Ordinance in the following ways. First, it explicitly names housing choice vouchers like Section 8 as an example of a housing assistance program that is protected from discrimination. It also specifies that it is illegal to communicate or advertise that vouchers cannot be used to rent or buy a property. It prohibits property owners from refusing or restricting availability, services, or repairs in ways that would prevent a voucher holder from accessing a housing unit. It also prohibits property owners from purposefully failing to complete necessary paperwork needed to process rental voucher programs in a timely manner, and provides a private right of action to complainants in 100 days as opposed to 1 year as it had previously been. The next update relates to the compliance team. First, I want to give a kudos to the compliance team who has worked very diligently all year to ensure that we exceeded our contracted amount for the EEOC. And that is not a small feat. So thank you. Yes, thank you all for your hard work. And they've done it despite any challenges that have happened with health of employees, personal issues, and things like that. So thank you to the team, and thank you to Pam for your leadership with that. Also want to say that the compliance team secured nearly $16,000 for 6 cases involving victims of discrimination, along with 6 private settlements for undisclosed dollar amounts. Yes, kudos for that as well. In terms of community engagement, prevention, and education, HR Representative Carlos Aviles and Shanice Drinks conducted outreach at the Police Assisted Diversion Program in Huntington Park on September 6th. Deputy Director Randy Duque attended the September meeting this week for the Mayor's Commission on African and Caribbean Immigrant Affairs. Among the issues that were discussed were concerns from the local Haitian community regarding the ongoing spread of disinformation regarding immigrants and their behavior in Springfield, Ohio. While there has been a lot of concern, and certainly a lot of concern was shared, to date, there have been no reports of anti-Haitian or anti-immigrant hate in Philadelphia related to that disinformation. In terms of noteworthy conflict responses, HR Representatives Tiara Thompson and David Oliver conducted a mediation for a community conflict that was impacting relations between some community leaders, and that mediation took place at the request of a district city council person. HR Representative Boonrat Mott assisted another district council member in facilitating a meeting regarding escalating tensions between a neighborhood group and a registered community organization. On September 10th, Deputy Director Randy Duque was on site. If you don't know what September 10th was, that was the presidential debate between the candidates, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. So Randy was on site monitoring protest activity because there was some protest outside of the debates, although there was tension between the police and one protest group that led to a handful of arrests. There was no major incidents observed. On September 11th, the mayor held a community meeting regarding the 76er Stadium in Chinatown, and Randy also attended that event just to observe and listen to what concerns the community had and determine if there are any supports that we need to be lending to the community impacted by that decision. Other noteworthy events for this reporting period. On September 13th, Randy was a guest speaker at a course at Carnegie Mellon University at their Hines College, and he spoke about hate and extremism in the United States and how to develop a framework for prevention. On September 16th, I was a featured guest on Community Connections, a series that explores community activities and resources available for Philadelphians. There, I discussed the scope of our services and protections, and specifically talked about the anti-discrimination protections afforded under the Fair Practices Ordinance. Upcoming events that are noteworthy. Today, I will be a panelist at the Employment Law Seminar for the Philadelphia Bar Association's Bench Bar Conference, and I will be providing employers and counsel information on the laws that we enforce, particularly those under the Fair Practices Ordinance, talking specifically about wage equity as well, which is always still a concern, the Crown Act, and we'll be touching on the standard for undue hardship. Moving on to the next point, on September 24th, Deputy Director Randy Duque will participate on a panel at the 2024 Anti-Terrorism Advisory Council, and he will be discussing strengthening community law enforcement relations. On September 25th, Deputy Director Duque will also participate on a panel for the Strong Cities Symposium, Global Crisis, Local Impacts, How Cities Are Responding to Hate. On September 26th, I will be honored by the Philadelphia Tribune as one of Philadelphia's most influential African-American leaders. Thank you. And then on October 17th, we will be hosting our very highly anticipated Social Justice Awards Luncheon. During that luncheon, we will be honoring community leaders and activists who are taking significant steps to make Philadelphia better. This year's honorees include activists, artists, and other community leaders who truly embody the spirit of brotherly love and sisterly affection. Moving on to hate and bias data that was reported to us for this month, we had 10 confirmed incidents of hate or bias. Most of those incidents centered on race or ethnicity, religion, and anti-LGBTQ sentiment. Okay, the awards ceremony will take place at the Free Library of Philadelphia in the, oh gosh, the name of the room, Skyline, in the Skyline room on the 4th floor from 1 to 3 on October 17th. It is by invitation only. I should say that since this is a public meeting. Okay. The incidents that were reported to us, I will start with race and ethnicity. There was an anti-Black assault that was reported wherein a Black male was called an anti-Black slur. He was also violently attacked and chased outside of a bar in Northern Liberties by 4 males. This investigation is ongoing. We also had a report of a Black family living in the Northeast who observed neighbors using racial slurs and exposing their genitalia to the complainant's security camera before shooting at it with a pellet or BB gun. In that particular case, the offenders were arrested. We had reports of a South Philadelphia business that was broken into and vandalized with racist and threatening graffiti, anti-Black graffiti. We also had a report of an Asian male in South Philadelphia who was verbally harassed and threatened by an unknown male who then called him an anti-Asian slur before telling him to go back to his country and stabbing his tires on his car. That particular investigation is still ongoing. We had another report of a South Asian family in South Philadelphia who reported that their neighbor had been verbally harassing them outside of their home and using derogatory language about the family, even to police who had been called to respond to the incident. And then we also had another report of an Asian woman who received a call from an unknown male making Asian language mocking sounds. We had 2 incidents that were reported to us that reflected an anti-LGBTQ sentiment. We had a complainant report that she was called an anti-LGBTQ slur and attacked while walking with a friend in Center City. For that particular incident, the offender left the scene. However, a warrant has been issued for their arrest. There was also a report of a man wearing a pride shirt. He and his partner were crossing the street in South Philadelphia and were called anti-gay slurs and then hit by bottles by people in a passing car. This incident is still under investigation and no arrests have been made so far. We also had a report of a person waiting for a bus at Allegheny, at the Allegheny bus station, who was attacked by juveniles who made several anti-trans statements. They refused to this person refused, the complainant rather, I'm sorry, refused to continue in their cooperation with the police. And so they weren't able to proceed with the investigation. And then the last report that we received was a Jewish woman who had repeatedly been harassed with anti-Semitic threats by her roommate's boyfriend after reporting him living, I guess, illegally in their unit. For that particular instance, we provided resources to the woman. And for all instances where there are criminal activities involved, we have connected the victims with police if they had not been previously connected, and also victim support resources. Our community relations team does a really good job at outreach to victims of hate and bias, and also tracking along with our state and local law enforcement to make sure that there's a coordinated response when necessary. To date, we've had 64 confirmed incidents of hate or bias reported to us, and we continue to monitor this. With that said, I will open it to any questions that anyone may have.
Yeah, do we have any plans to, I know this is an enormous undertaking, and so I can fully understand if there are no plans to do it, but a couple of times when Rue was the executive director, we did issue annual reports. And I'm wondering if there are any plans to try to do something similar. There's so much important work being done by this agency, and I'm wondering if people are the public is really fully aware of all of the important work that's getting done here. But also it's very educational to hear the types of incidents of hate that arise. We certainly see patterns in what they are, and we see spikes depending on what's happening in the news. And I think this is all very eye-opening, really, really important work. And I would love to have the broader community be more aware of that work, whether that's an annual report or something else, I don't know, but we do have a communications person now, right? So that's maybe a possibility.
Yeah, so we actually have an annual report,
Oh,
and we distributed that back in
did
January.
not,
I
did
believe.
not remember that.
Yes, and it's on our website as well. And so it's available for the public to view if they visit our website, phila.gov/human relations. We also, I believe we summarized the hate and bias data in that report, along with some of the other accomplishments of the agency. And then we have quarterly meetings with state and local and
Hmm.
federal law enforcement partners where we review the hate and bias data collected with them as well. So
Well, maybe the commissioners, maybe we as a group can do a better job of circulating the annual report and making sure it gets out there and there's more awareness. I'm just thinking that this agency does so much, and I would love for there to be more knowledge of that in the greater public. So maybe I guess the easy way to do that is to go to the website, get the annual report, and circulate that in our networks, and just sort of make sure that people are seeing it. Is there a summary or a press release? I'm thinking I could do this via LinkedIn or something like that.
I believe there is a press release that we did back in January for this. We also circulated it through to the city council
Mhm.
members so that they could share with their constituents as well.
Great.
And certainly have it available for our tabling events when we're out in the community. So I think we're, with the assistance of our public relations person, we have come light years in terms of our outreach and what we're able to communicate to the public about what we would do. Yep. All right. Any other questions? Hearing none, I will turn it back over to our chair, Commissioner Shalimar Thomas.
Thank you, and thank you to your team, as always, for the great work that you're doing, and the great work you're doing in getting the word out. Our next meeting will take place in October, or meetings, I should say, will take place in October. The executive session will take place, October 11th, 2024. Public session will be held on October 18th, 2024. Readers for the month of October are Commissioners Kareem Thomas, Albert, and Tibbs. With that, can I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you, Commissioner Ricks and Commissioner Albert. All in favor? Thank you. The meeting has been adjourned. Have a great weekend.
Thanks,
All right,
everyone. Have a great weekend.
good night.
Bye, you
Good
all.
weekend, everyone.